Shiny Pokemon are the ultimate prize in the Pokemon world, and Pokemon Violet has plenty of amazing ones. So I decided to embark on a dazzling adventure in Pokemon Violet using only shiny Pokemon, with a list of hardcore rules as if the challenge isn't hard enough already. Here's what happened. Our journey started out by choosing a starter, and because Game Freak doesn't like fun, the starters are shiny locked. And because none of the starters can be shiny, they're all worthless. Instead, we take our business to Pokepath, a small grassy area with some really cool shinies, and some not so cool ones. It took an eternity and probably thousands of encounters. In fact, I actually got motion sickness from running in circles so much and had to take some breaks because I got so nauseous. But finally, we run into this beauty of a fletchling, and it was all worth it. I name her Mario, and as always, there is a name theme, so if you can guess what it is, leave a comment below. So, after finally getting our very first team member, we got to see just how cool it looks in battle. Now we just have to keep it alive. Oh, that's unnerving. Remember, this is a Nuzlocke, so if one of our Pokemon faints, it's dead forever. So after putting Arven's lesser, non-shiny Pokemon in their place, I decided it's a good idea to add another Pokemon to our team as a sort of safety net. I started hunting at this beach in Area 1. There were many cool Pokemon available, but I had my eyes on one Pokemon in particular, Wiglet.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Not only does this pool noodle have an amazing shiny form, it's also a static encounter. Yeah, I later realized this encounter doesn't respawn, so it won't be shiny ever. And I just wasted a bunch of time. But not to worry, this isn't over, Wiglet.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
And you'll see why later on. Instead, I start looking around other places for cool encounters, and look what I run into just minutes later. Good boy. Now, get in the ball. Although its shiny isn't the coolest, I do love Fido, so I'm not complaining at all. Next, we head to battle Nemona, who has a terastallized Palmy. Since we're not allowing terastallization ourselves, this could get ugly. Mario handled Nemona's Quaxly with a few quick attacks. So far so good, but the terastallized Palmy was a different story. We didn't want Mario to get zapped from the sky, so we switched into Luigi. But Palmy hits hard with a Thunder Shock, which also paralyzes. This could be a big wrench in our plan. Another Thunder Shock did big damage, but an Oranberry healed us back again. We dish out okay damage with Covet, but things were looking dire. Another Thunder Shock leaves us on 11 HP. And we get fully paralyzed that turn. At this point, I was already mentally prepared to lose at least one Pokemon, so I stayed in and got hit with a Thunder Shock, which left us on a single HP. Luigi landed a Covet, and through some miracle, it deals enough damage to take out Palmy. We somehow took the victory scot-free. But if this was just the intro battle, I don't even want to imagine what we'll have to deal with later on. Our next stop was Mesagoza, where we ran into We're Team Star, and you're watching the Disney Channel. For a team called Team Star, I see no shiny sparkles.
Pathetic.
And after that, it's time to take on our very first gym battle versus Katie. And taking out her first two Pokemon is barely a problem at all. What's a problem is her terastallized Teddy Ursa. We start wearing it down with Luigi, but that's when Teddy Ursa starts hitting us with Fury Cutter. And if you didn't know, this move gets stronger after every hit. So each turn brought my pulse a little closer to a heart attack. It's not long before we're forced to switch into Mario. Pluck deals okay damage, but Fury Cutter's been building up now and deals a scary amount of damage. And at this point, the next hit could maybe even take us out. Luckily, it's no problem because a final peck will definitely KO. So, Teddy Ursa's left on literally 1 HP. Teddy Ursa lands a Fury Cutter, which we survive on 4 HP. And with that, we can finish off Katie and somehow get the very first gym badge. I took that as a warning and accepted that we're gonna need a bigger safety net. So I started looking around South Province Area 3, which boasts a plethora of super cool encounters. Honestly, I was fine with pretty much anything this route had to offer. I looked around for a while and there were no shinies in sight. No shiny here, not there, or under this rock. Oh wait, that's not a rock. That's a shiny cloth, and it looks unexpectedly amazing. I named this blue guy Yoshi. So far, I had some pretty insane shiny luck, and I wonder if it'll continue. It does. And with that, it was time to take on the Titan Cloth with our own cloth. And the team size rule doesn't apply here because we're up against a super powered Titan with a regular, albeit blue, crab. Thankfully, our cloth was not just good looking, but also packed a punch and had a great defense stat too. I never noticed how good cloth actually can be, having some solid base stats. It wasn't long before the Titan was defeated, and as a reward, Mario evolves into a Fletchender, and this made me confident in taking on the next gym. Mario is probably the perfect Pokemon for the job, but little did I know, this gym battle would be a daunting test against critical hit RNG. The first two of Brassius's Pokemon were quickly turned to ash, but then he sent out his ace, terastallized Pseudo-Wudo, and even though it turns into a grass type, it still has a rock move, and that's not very good for Mario's health. So we U-turn out into Luigi, who has baby doll eyes, which lowers Pseudo-Wudo's attack. The first two turns I felt safe, but then I realized that if the Pseudo-Wudo lands a critical hit, things could go south real fast. Oh well, for the content, and thankfully no crits. So with Pseudo-Wudo's attack stat lowered thrice, I bring out Mario again. And again, if Pseudo-Wudo gets a critical hit here, Mario's done for. But I play the odds, and thankfully didn't get unlucky. I U-turn out again, which does pathetic damage, but we bring out Yoshi, and I was surprised to see how well she tanked Pseudo-Wudo's hits. From there, it was an easy KO. And just like that, we get the second gym badge. I cannot overstate how good Yoshi actually turned out to be. I mean, just watch as she rock blasts Titan Bombardier to the Shadow Realm. Now, the first two Team Star bosses only have 2 Pokemon, but you need 3 Pokemon to raid the Team Star base. So, we have to bend the rules a little here again. But to be fair, I don't think it really mattered, because we absolutely breezed through Giacomo. Total cakewalk. What isn't gonna be a cakewalk though is Iono. She's got 4 Pokemon compared to our measly 3, one of which is very much weak to electric types. So I decided I needed some reinforcements. We headed to Kitakami, a region filled with tons of cool shinies. But all I really wanted was Applin. I started hunting for that green apple, but this wasn't as easy as I had hoped it'd be. These little pests hid inside trees, and I had to squint so hard. Here's an actual real photo of what I looked like for the entirety of the hunt. But anyway, about 3 hours later, it finally happened. We found the green apple and named her Toad. And there's really only one acceptable evolution branch for Applin and Gen 9. Let's be honest. So now that we have an upgraded team, we could go up against Iono. I lead with Yoshi, who deals with Iono's Watch Roll easily with a Rock Blast. Belly Bolt's next, but Toad easily destroys it with Giga Drain. And Iono's Luxio meant the exact same fate. Finally, Iono's ace, Terastallized Mismagius, steps up. Mismagius hits us with Confuse Ray, which is just the most entertaining and well thought out mechanic in all of Pokemon. We even end up hitting ourselves twice. Fun! Luckily, Mismagius can't deal too much damage, and we finally snap out of it and are able to finish off Mismagius, earning us the badge. Before our next hunt, we had to face off against Team Star's Mela, but this battle always looks the same no matter what. You get rid of the sunlight and start spamming. Oh, that's unlucky. Thanks to the burn, we now deal pathetic damage. But despite this setback, Yoshi was still our best bet, and could still whoop Torkoal's butt. But the Starmobile was a different story. We just couldn't deal any real damage. I decided to switch into Luigi, who has the well-baked body ability, so fire moves don't do any damage. And so we started chipping away at the Starmobile with bites. And let me tell you, this was extremely entertaining content. So I'll go ahead and skip through it because it's just too fun for you to watch. Sorry. Basically, we ended up taking out the Starmobile and winning the battle. Next up is Kofu, but with Toad, the terrifying, menacing grass dragon, Kofu already knew what hit him. In a nutshell, here's how this battle went. Grass beats water, so grass go... And that's the 4th gym badge. Now, I promise I'll get back to hunting shinies in a sec, but we had been doing so well lately that I made the stupid choice to take on Atticus early. And even now, writing the script, this battle still gives me trauma. We have 2 Pokemon that are weak to poison, and 2 that are neutral. Plus, Atticus actually has a good team. But anyway, I somehow still thought it was a good idea to fight Atticus straight away. So here's what happened. We lead with Mario against his Skuntank, and Mario luckily deals huge damage. We take out the Skuntank, but not before she poisons us. Muck's out next, and Acrobatics still deals a ton of damage, but we're on low HP, so I decide it's best to U-turn into Yoshi. We go for Dig, which finally finishes off Muck. Reveroom's out next, and it deals a ton of damage to us, activating Anger Shell as well. This is a major wrench in my plan because we don't really have any other Pokemon that can stand up to the Starmobile, but at least a quad effective Dig is enough to take out the Reveroom. And now the Starmobile remains. This thing had the capacity to take out any one of my Pokemon. I had been banking on Yoshi having a bit more HP left, but we are absolutely cornered here. I decide to stay in and get hit with a spin out. And we actually survive on 3 HP. Dig, being a 2-turn move, lets us recover a bit of health with leftovers, but Dig just doesn't deal enough damage. For some reason, the Starmobile goes for Flame Charge here, and again, we survive on 4 HP. But I took a deep breath, knowing this was probably it for Yoshi, and pressed Dig again. This took the Starmobile down to half health, but then came the counterattack. That was the first death of the run, and it felt pretty bitter, not gonna lie. I was pretty upset, but it was my own fault for being cocky, and this battle was still far from over. We still don't have any good matchups against the Starmobile, so I desperately send out Toad, who instantly gets poisoned. Noxious Torque actually doesn't deal too much damage, so we counter with Dragon Pulse, which also doesn't deal too much damage. We are definitely in crit range here, but I'm absolutely cornered and would rather take the chance than potentially end my run. And thankfully, the risk pays off. Another Dragon Pulse takes the Starmobile to very low HP. We can't stay in anymore though, so I switch to Luigi, who instantly just gets absolutely demolished. So, now I just have to pray Luigi's faster than the Starmobile. And he is! We actually somehow survived this epic battle, and I cannot believe it. Just look at how this battle left my team. How did I survive this? But with one missing team member, we had to fill that empty void, so I started hunting. We head over to East Province Area 3. This area had a couple very cool options, but I had my eyes on either a Pawniard, a Bagon, or a Varoom. There's really not much to say here, other than this hunt took a while, but I was getting used to it. My body was adapting, and I had evolved into the perfect shiny hunter by now. And so, I finally spotted a golden sparkle belonging to a shiny golden Varoom. And what better name for him than Wario? Losing Yoshi was a pretty big blow for the team, but they still looked awesome. And to make me feel better, Mario also evolves into a majestic Talonflame. And now, I felt ready to take on Larry, the normal type gym leader. First out was Wario, but we didn't really deal great damage, so I swapped to Mario instead, and Mario finished off Komala with ease. Acrobatics deals slightly underwhelming damage, and the Stinky the Dunsparce retaliates with Glare. Additionally, Hyper Drill deals a ton of damage, and another Hyper Drill takes us down to just 3 HP. I got a little stupid here, because Paralysis could have easily ruined this, but I went for U-turn to take out the Dunsparce and sent out Wario. Finally, Larry sent out his ace, Staraptor. Neither of us could deal a whole lot of damage to the other, so I end up switching to Luigi, and Luigi misses a play rough and gets taken down to 25 HP. Luck was not on our side here, but thankfully, we got luckier on the next turn and landed the killing blow, taking out Staraptor and winning the 5th gym badge. With 5 badges in the bag, I decide this is a good point to start hunting for our next shiny. Little did I know, I was getting into the worst hunt yet. I hunted in the South Province Area 5. There were tons of cool encounters there, and I was pretty happy with whatever I could get, though I wouldn't complain about a shiny Axio. So I started hunting, but even after hours, nothing appeared. Additionally, I was trying to spot whether the tadbulbs were shiny or not, which is a hard thing to do. Hours went by and I was getting increasingly frustrated. This should not be this hard. But right as I was about to look into retirement homes, I finally spotted it. Although barely. A shiny tadbulb. We name her Bowser, and obviously we have to evolve this beauty. That shiny looks amazing. Additionally, Wario the Varoom finally evolves as well. Our team is looking amazing, so it's time to take on Rhyme. I send out our 2 newly evolved friends and absolutely annihilate Rhyme's team. If Rhyme's ghosts weren't dead before, they definitely are now. So our team is pretty OP at this point. But remember that Wiglet we couldn't get before? Yeah, that little noodle's been avoiding my grasp for too long. So I went hunting for its evolved form, Wugtrio, and this time we had Sandwich. This beautiful culinary marvel increases the rate at which water types appear. So now that we are all set, let's hunt these blue noodles. The sandwich worked great. I saw tons of Wugtrios appear, but I was pretty scared that I would get some other lame shiny, like Golduck. Luckily, that didn't happen, because finally, we got him, boys! A shiny Wugtrio that we name Goomba. Since Goomba is overleveled, we decide to let her chill in the box for a bit. No worries though, we have a Titan to take down, Iron Threads. Now, Iron Threads is supposed to be the super tough Titan, but honestly, we demolished it. Like, it wasn't even close. Anyway, back to business. After making Iron Threads look like a toddler's plaything, it was time to take on Gym Leader Tulip. Mario easily handles her Ferrigraph, no sweat. But then Gardevoir came out swinging with a Psychic that nearly knocked Wario out cold. After managing to take down Gardevoir, we faced Espathra next. Luigi stepped up to the plate and delivered some solid bites, but Espathra retaliated hard. 1 crit and Luigi would be done for. And yeah, we gotta be more careful here. Espathra finally goes down, but our team is looking rough. Tulip's terastallized Florges comes out, and it's Bowser's time to shine. She tanks a Moonblast like a champ, and hits back with a critical Thunderbolt. Florges counters and brings Bowser to the brink of fainting. Thankfully, Bowser finishes off Florges. With 7 gym badges in hand, it's time for another shiny hunt. This time, we head to the Bamboo Forest in Northern Province Area 2. This forest is packed with potential shinies, but I had my eye on the prize. A shiny Pawniard. I mean, a shiny Kingambit would be absolutely fantastic. There was just one problem. Sometimes this place was laggy. Hunting here was a test of patience, but I was determined. The forest was too full of amazing shinies to give up. And it wasn't all bad, especially when I spotted a shiny Dreepy sneaking by a lake. Catching that shiny Dreepy felt amazing, cause shiny Dragapult is top tier. We caught her and named her Peach. With Peach safely stashed in the box until she reaches her full potential at level 60, we decide to head straight for the slopes and challenge our 8th and final gym leader, Grusha. Now, who thought putting an Ice-type specialist as the final boss was a good idea? Because, let me tell you, it's not. Our team breezes through without breaking a sweat, absolutely obliterating Grusha's team. And look, I'd love to show some nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat battles, but honestly, these opponents are just too easy. We're on the fast track to becoming champions with the most stunning team imaginable. But before that, let's make this team even more OP. That's right, we're heading to Kitakami again, this time to the Timeless Woods. There are a ton of cool shinies here, but I have my eyes set on one in particular, shiny Toedscruel. So I whip out the big white hat and start crafting the ultimate ground type sandwich. Some might say making sandwiches isn't an art, but they clearly haven't seen my masterpieces. Now, with an abundance of Toedscruel around, it's time to start the hunt. This hunt was a lot quicker than my previous ones, but I still felt just as great when I spotted that beautiful pink and black parasitic mushroom. Meet Toadette. She's a pretty fun guy. With Toadette joining our ranks, it's time to take on Airy. Leading the charge is our freshly caught Toadette, who demolishes Toxicroak with Earth Power. Next up is Annihilate, so I switch to Mario. He gets hit with an Ice Punch, and wouldn't you know it, it freezes. Of course. But at least Flame Body activates, burning Annihilate. Fortunately, we thaw out on the next turn and land an acrobatics that almost KOs. Soon after, we take down Annihilate. Passimian is up next. Using U-turn, I send out Luigi. One play rough later, and Passimian is out cold. Airy then sends out Lucario, so we stay in, get hit with an Aura Sphere, which isn't too bad, and then counter with Stomping Tantrum. One more turn of that, and Lucario is down. Finally, Airy sends out her Starmobile. I pivot to Bowser, use Volt Switch because I'm expecting an Earthquake, and send out Mario. Instead, the Starmobile uses Shift Gear, setting up for a potentially scary scenario. Acrobatics deals a hefty chunk of damage, but doesn't finish the job. We get paralyzed in return, so not ideal, but Bowser comes back in as the tank she is, and finally finishes off the Starmobile, clinching our victory against Airy. And with that, the only thing left is to challenge the Pokemon League. First up is Rika. Toadette makes quick work of her Whiscash, but once Camerupt is out, we need to switch into Mario. Camerupt is sneaky though, going for Yawn, so we U-turn into Luigi. But Camerupt pulls a sneaky one and yawns again, so I switch into Bowser, who does get hit pretty hard, but we finally KO Camerupt with Chilling Water. Next up is Donphan, but Toadette takes care of it with ease. And last out is Rika's terrestrialized Clodsire, who tries to Poison Stall, but victory is inevitable. Peach, who now is a mighty Dragapult, finishes it off, and that's 1 down, 3 to go. Next is Poppy, and this is a masterclass in owning a Steel-type user. Mario destroys Copperajah. We then U-turn to Toadette, who annihilates Magnezone. Bowser obliterates Corviknight, and Peach crushes Bronzong. Not even Poppy's ace, Tinkaton, can best Wario, who smashes her. And that's that, halfway through. Now it's time for everyone's favorite working man, Larry. We lead Wario, who takes out Tropius with Poison Jab. We dodge a flamethrower by sending in Luigi against Altaria, boosting our defense. One play rough later, and Altaria is down. Luigi's on a roll, taking out Staraptor next. Wario then deals with Oricorio, and so Larry's down to his ace, Flamigo. I send out Peach, forgetting Flamigo has the Scrappy ability, meaning he can land a close combat despite our ghost typing, dealing some heavy damage. It's fine though, as we survive and Bowser can come in and finish the job. So finally, Hassel is the last Elite Four member remaining. And first up is Noivern. Super Fang hurts, but a single Thunderbolt from Bowser gets rid of the Noivern. Dragalge is up next, so we Volt Switch into Wario, who takes down Dragalge. Next up is Haxorus, so I send in Luigi to handle him as well as Flapple. And finally, Hassel sends out his ace, Excalibur. But this good girl is unstoppable. And just like that, we've taken down the Elite Four. Now, all that was left was to take down the champion. Could our team of sparkly misfits topple the strongest trainer in the region? Let's find out. First up was Peach. She decisively took down Espathra with a well-placed Phantom Force, setting the tone for the battle. Gita then sends out Go-Goat, so I quickly U-turn into Mario, who effortlessly handled the Go-Goat with 1 acrobatics. But then came King Gambit. With the rain pouring down, I decided to swap out Mario using U-turn, sending in Toadette to finish the job. Veluza was next on the field, but we didn't want a taste of that quite effective Ice Fang, so I switched into Bowser, who took Veluza down with a single Thunderbolt. Gita's Avalugg appeared next, prompting another switch to Mario to avoid an Earthquake. And Mario made quick work of Avalugg with a powerful Flare Blitz. And then, Gita was down to her ace, her terastallized Glimora. We U-turn into Toadette, who gets poisoned right away. I went for an Earth Power, which left Glimora hanging by a sliver of health. Glimora countered with Sludge Wave, and to my shock and dismay, it took down Toadette. Losing Toadette was a tough blow, but we had to push on. So to finish off Glimora and secure our victory, I sent in Wario. With a quick Iron Head, we took out Glimora. And just like that, we had become champions. And while this victory was great, our journey is far from over. There is one last hunt I want to embark on in Area 0, and one final challenge awaiting us as well. Well, technically two, because Nemona was still out there, and we breezed through Nemona's team. That is, until the Dunsparce came out. Mario took severe damage from a Hyper Drill, prompting me to U-turn into Peach. And I was sure we could take out the Dunsparce from this range, but guess what? I was wrong. The Dunsparce, this ugly, stupid, ugly snake thing, one-shotted Peach. One shot! Are you kidding me? Fine. Well, to avenge Peach, Goomba stepped up and took down the despicable worm. The rest of Nemona's team was a cakewalk. Even her Quaquaw Ball stood no chance against Bowser, but that Dunsparce will forever haunt my dreams. So, with Nemona defeated, it was time to hunt in Area 0. This place boasts a ton of cool shinies, but what really piqued my interest were the Paradox Pokémon. I was determined to catch a shiny Paradox Pokémon, but there was just one problem: the lag. It was like never before, making this potentially the most painful hunt yet. But I was set on this. Lag wouldn't keep me from those sweet, shiny Paradox Pokémon. So we started the hunt. But not 5 minutes later, this happened. That's right. We found a shiny Iron Jugulus, and in record time. I am so happy that this was the hunt that my shiny luck decided to show up for. And wow, what a cool shiny too. So we gotta name it Waluigi. With our team reinforced, it was time to face the true strongest trainer in the region, AI Turo. Turo kicks things off with Iron Moth, and I counter with Bowser. Iron Moth's Sludge Wave activates Bowser's Electromorphosis, allowing us to unleash a powerful Thunderbolt that nearly takes it down. On the next turn, we finish off Iron Moth with ease. Next up, Turo sends out Iron Bundle. I switch to Toad, but in my excitement, I completely forget about our quad weakness to ice. One freeze dry later and Toad is down, and that loss stings. But undeterred, I send Bowser back into the fray. After healing up with Slack Off, we demolish Iron Bundle with another electrifying Thunderbolt. Iron Thorns steps up to the plate next, and to avoid an Earthquake, I switch to Waluigi, our shiny Iron Jugulus. One Earth Power later, and Iron Thorns is history. Turo counters with Iron Hands, and our first Earth Power doesn't quite finish it, and we take a hard hit in return. On the next turn, we land another Earth Power and take down Iron Hands for good. Iron Jugulus is up next, but unfortunately, luck isn't on our side as we miss an Air Slash. Turo's Iron Jugulus does not miss, and Waluigi is taken out. Waluigi, you fought valiantly. Bowser steps back in, avenging Waluigi with a decisive Thunderbolt, eliminating Turo's Iron Jugulus. And finally, Turo is down to his ace, Iron Valiant. We use Volt Switch to bring out Wario, and with one powerful poison jab, we've done it. We've taken down AI Turo and become champions of Pokemon Violet using only shiny Pokemon. Thanks for watching. For more shiny Pokemon content, click on this video next and hit subscribe to support my channel. Let me know in the comments what video you want to see, and if you liked the video, click like.